Hello everyone, welcome back to the RationalInvestor.co's weekend edition of Frivolity in the crypto space. Our broiler chicken show! Yay! Da, 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 da. Suppose we got to be careful not to use too many music reference. Somebody actually over the weekend I thought was hilarious. Somebody actually send me a request for our broiler chicken show to play this music video, which I thought was funny because now people are actually creating derivatives of, of Mr. And I'm not even quite sure where he's from. I think he's from Denmark or Sweden or something. Do you want to trade some shit coins? Now people are actually making different music videos of trading shit coins, which I thought was hilarious. So we don't want to get into trouble with YouTube because they'll be like, copyright violation. But anyway, so I played a quick little blurb there for you, Tim, of that. And if anybody wants that link, suppose I can post it here in the lounge. I thought that was a funny video, so go watch that if you've got some time. Do you want to trade some shitcoins folk music style? All right. I think, the message of the market right now, guys, is we went through just an absolute face rip market up, and I think we're kind of in cleanup mode. We can look at a bunch of different Bitcoin charts. The message is basically the same. It doesn't change a huge amount. I think probably our little hedging image, I think, is probably a great little sort of testament to this. Where, and on actually, we might as well start at our weekly Bitcoin chart. I love this chart. It's so simple. The irony of it all is that most people who are sort of new to trading, they've just been on an absolute emotional roller coaster over the past month or so. And, if anything, when you see an image like this and you draw your just sort of simple connect the dots off of the highs, and you see price leave this arc, if anything, ironically enough, this is actually a pretty healthy way for this situation to get resolved. Sometimes I've seen markets, they often say if they go up too far too fast, they go straight up and straight back down, and that's it. So I think if anything, being crypto enthusiasts, being crypto bulls, right, we want to see the bull go on. The way that price has actually sort of stabilized and calmed down over the past month, I actually think is pretty constructive. And if anything, one could argue, the more that we make these stabs down into here and they get rejected, the more this is becoming a floor for price. I would ideally, and unfortunately, I don't know why it is, but running these YouTube videos, every once in a while the browser kicks out, and these numbers are lost on my fibs. It's kind of irritating, but I guess I got to get used to it. Anyway, this level right here, this was a 38.2 fib correction off of basically the whole bull. I would ideally really like this level to be traded to, and I know all you Bitcoin bulls are like, "Oh, why you shut up, Brian? It's not gonna happen." Because what it literally means is that the market could easily lose a good $500, $600, $700 a coin here, and I would actually consider it healthy. But the market's going to do any old damn thing it wants. Please understand that. Just because 38.2 first stop target, that's what we use to just sort of judge the health of the market. If the market's just like, I'm not on that market state, I'm a bull, watch me roar, we just got to live with the results. As I had said before, if I had a wish list, I would like to see this 38.2 tagged, bring us back down to this arc, clean up moving averages, maybe even get the moving averages to converge a little bit. They're awfully wide apart still. And then, considering our sort of big fundamental, oh my God, what's going to happen coming up here, that's where we sort of come down. And I really like, and it's just such a simple chart. And yet this message just really seems to be resonating with me. Um, I'm a big believer that the market likes to move in waves, and usually you see an initial move in a market, and that's only usually half the move. The question is, how does the other half of the move get expressed? And this was last year's dump. Yes, I know it had unique fundamental features about it. And in essence, the situation will never duplicate itself exactly. Actually, one of our alumni, when I was doing our Twitter sort of banter, a lot of alumni I chat with on Twitter, and he used the expression, I think it was perfect. He says, I put out the question, does history repeat itself? And his response was, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure likes to rhyme. And you can even see just the price action in itself is slightly different. There's a different tone to price action here, but on balance, I see a hell of a lot of similarities. And I'm just wondering, once we do actually get on the other side of this fundamental event, from what I understand, there's supposed to be a whole bunch of hurdles and stuff. What is the market going to look like on the other side of that event? And do we need to have this second shoe drop? And we've heard lots of banter from, like institutional players talking about how, a nice dip below 2,000 might represent a half decent buying opportunity. And if we go back to that sort of tether chart, that's kind of what I've been thinking, just to play a conservative. Keep in mind, guys, I mean, I know, well, I have a feeling quite a few of you have come to expect that, doubling, tripling, quadrupling, 10xing, 100xing your money is just commonplace. It's just par for the course. Try to understand that isn't normal asset growth. And with that in mind, I mean, we at TRI have been rewarded very handsomely on our own relative scale with the amount of money that we put into this market. You want your money back, eh, Jeremy? But the point here is all we've done is we've just taken the opportunity as prices run up just to simply go and find some places to park some Bitcoins. We sold some into Tether. We bought various different so-called hedges. And please understand, guys, this is an unregulated space. There are no written rules. You want to, the guy on the other side of the trade says you've got a problem with it, take me to court, right? That's your legal recourse. You've got to fight whoever it is on your own, and good luck if you're dealing with like institutions overseas who mysteriously all of a sudden don't speak your language anymore as soon as you have any problems, or even some sites for that matter who will just simply turn off the interaction with the public. We've had enough of your bitching. You know what? We're just going to ignore you. So, please understand, guys. Let's call a spade with what we're dealing with here. So, on balance, could I see the crypto market move higher? Sure. This is venture capital, right? But at the same time, too, I am definitely taking steps to try and, book some of these profits. So just in case the shit hits the fan, excuse my French for the kids who are in the room, but just in case that happens, at least we've locked in some of these gains that we've been very fortunate to realize here. And the interesting thing is I've actually put myself into a position that, if Goldman Sachs, the irony of it all is when we do course material, everybody should look at this chart and go, yeah, it makes common sense why the price would come down here. This is just natural. Is it guaranteed to happen? Of course not. But if we do get a dump, and I would actually like this dump to happen, I'm going to be in there buying more Bitcoins. Totally. I'd love that opportunity. And of course, all I'm doing is just building my Bitcoin stack. If anything, a little bit addition that I've done recently, and I had this note up here, may sell a bit more if we work our way up top. On Friday, especially heading into the weekend, especially with crypto, you never know what the hell's going to happen over the weekends. I went and strapped on a few 5,000 BitMEX short open interest. contracts. So that's about 5 grand worth of Bitcoin that I shorted up here, outright short position. Our forced liquidation on that trade is above this high up here. And I think I'm willing to give this short a little bit of breathing room up here. Let's see how this acts. I thought it was interesting watching over the weekend. Where's that chart? There it is. On the 4-hour basis, what really got me worried was whenever I see the market smiling at you and then double smiling at you, that's a bad sign. And it was so significant to me. I was just like, holy crap, I got to get, I actually have to, take it to the next step and actually start strapping on some shorts. Market broke back into this trend line, and basically the battle through New York kill zone set up a bull divergence through here into the European close, which in essence enabled this counter trend rally. And I noticed, on our RSI, the break of the 50 line, pretty nasty structure here. You'll notice that this counter trend rally, just simply following along the trend line here, just did nothing more but to take us right back to the original breakdown point. And look at this cute little M that's going on here. So get ready, guys. I mean, if what time is it now? It's 12:30. If the Asians open up first thing Monday morning and they're feeling like they're in a selling mode, does it make sense, guys? They've got the green light. I could easily see a stab down into this level here. And maybe we might even be carving out this harmonic here. So just be cognizant. Things are looking a bit heavy again here. Okay, guys? If anything, what I notice happens a lot is they either play the crypto kids to the upside or they play them to the downside. In a weird sort of way, coming through the Friday session, notice how this is getting later on. I got a funny feeling they tried to wash the kids out to the short side, and then through the rally, the bounce back to the original selling level. And you guys remember we've talked about this before. Are institutions allowed to sell these down markets? And even, in the face of these noticeable divergences, do you think an institution is going to get too excited about selling into this? Probably not. In fact, the irony of it all is that we learn that institutions actually have to wait for up markets. There's an old saying in the market, if you want to sell in size, take the market up. If you want to buy in size, take the market down. Isn't that weird? It's totally counterintuitive. But from an institutional, from an order desk, from a brokerage perspective, that's the way you actually have to operate. If you want to buy in size, you take the market down. You want to sell in size, you take the market up. So in a weird sort of way, I think that's kind of what happened here. If the sellers did want to get short from the appropriate structural location, they can't chase. They certainly can't run into this divergence. They got to take the market up. And notice, I mean, I'm quite shocked at this. You notice how every time they take it up into this mountain man level, somebody's coming out and just whacking this thing back down here. I suppose one could argue that if we can accept back above this 61.8, I think we're probably going to have to come up into this area up top here. You can really see that they've really drawn a line in the sand off this level, haven't they? As I had said, I'm more than happy just to ride this short just as a short hedge. I kind of get the feeling that if I'm going to take profits, what I think I might do is simply look for this 50% level to get tagged, to take partial profits, maybe book half of it, and then just see where the market runs. I got a funny feeling the market wants to dip back down, and of course there's 2000. We've talked lots about Goldman Sachs looking for that 1900 area, which I suppose would be a test of these lows down in here. If that has to play out, then I'll just ride the rest of the position down into there. But I'm still kind of thinking that we're in this kind of market. I think you might get a nice stab against these lows kind of idea, which sets up that harmonic, which brings the market right back up into these highs. Kind of like this. I got a funny feeling we're going to be doing this for a while. So we'll see what happens. But in essence, hopefully all of you guys can see those Emmys. And if you're kind of like in the lounge, you know, I saw these Emmys come in here and I was a little cross at myself for not getting short off of that level. I did notice some of our pros were short off of this level. And then frankly speaking, I think that's really the level you want to be short from. But I saw this develop, and this was a reload zone off of this range, and I was just like, you know what, probably a good idea just to have a little bit of short exposure on, just to have our butts covered here. If I look at, you know, the interesting thing I've noticed recently is it really seems to me that Litecoin is sort of kind of a leading indicator in this space right now, even though everybody hates Litecoin. I don't know why everybody hates Litecoin so much, but they sure do. It's a really, it's quite remarkable how opinionated people are about this coin. But long and short of it here is we were playing a long setup, and on the structural failure here, remember my bitching and complaining about how these markets, you know, tripped up these alarms that they're crazy at times. Long and short of it here on the structural failure, I decided to walk from the long side. Dead cat bounce back into resistance, and if anything, hopefully what you guys can see is that if guys are putting a top in here, we're now getting into the area where if this is indeed the top, they're going to whack it back down, and I think that's basically what happened here. So, you know, very much like Bitcoin with its sort of line in the sand, mountain man level, hopefully you guys can see there's a pretty big battle that's being waged here. Quite simply, if we break through the top here, my hunch is AB equals CD, probably going to take us up into probably new highs. So that's one scenario. Oh, they're going to take it right up. Look at that. See how they've just basically said that if we resolve this, we're heading up into this area, right? Probably up into these wicks. At the same time, hopefully all you guys can also see there's a really cute little head and shoulders battle going on here. Here, 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 to here. And you know, I'm sure there might be even some people that have think that it already fired right there to there to there and there. And so the head and shoulders is already at work on that fail there. That's a tough one. That's going to be open to debate. I think on balance, you know, if we go and look it over on this kind of exchange, right? Was that an FU move set up? Tough to say. But really, you know, I think we have our bull bear battle lines drawn pretty well. So if we head up through the top here, AB equals CD kind of stuff. If we roll over here, then head and shoulders, we're heading back down. That's pretty cut and dry, I think. And I think really you could probably use whatever happens in Litecoin. Notice we got a little bit of a rally happening right now, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if Litecoin sort of is driving the bus right now in a weird sort of way. So let's see. On the lower time frames, you can see Bitcoin's still pretty soft over in Asia. And still pretty soft here on MEX. So it'll be interesting to see. If we look at Stamp on the dailies, I thought this was such a fascinating anecdote. Do you guys notice that the dump the other day came right back to this 45-degree angle and just bounced right off it? Oh, that was fascinating. So clearly the market is enamored with this 45-degree angle. That's obviously really important to the market. And then, of course, our other bad boy we got to keep an eye on, Ethereum. Interestingly enough, Ethereum really didn't do much through this weekend. Really stalled, which is something that I've been sort of keeping out of the corner of my eye. You know, in essence, it's almost like there are like several different sort of moving parts here. I had put out a tweet last week suggesting that, you know, and again, this is sort of hopefully everybody can see. When you start seeing like double smiley faces in the market, oh boy, that's a bad sign. So here we had another double smiley face, and you could even argue there's a little mini smiley face right in there. But the long and short of it here is the break of this level and the break of this trend line. When I saw that, I was like, oh crap. That's not a good sign at all. and and I actually just put out the tweet, how bad does bad get? And really, I don't see any anecdotal reason here for me to even just remotely suggest that we're done. I just don't see any reason. The only thing that, last week that sort of filled me with a bit of encouragement was we came down into this tail. Actually, we just got right to the candle body levels there, right there, which was also the bottom of value. So it suggested that this thing could bounce a bit. And notice we bounced right up into this little notch right here. And she's starting to roll over again. So, while a lot of the and this is what I was sort of referencing in the lounge yesterday, we were actually able to get some doubles off. Ian's probably got about 40 or 50 winning long trades booked for the weekend, eh? But we did relatively well. We booked off a couple doubles and saw some nice coins moving up. I was very pleased to see the Cryptopia page marching along. So this was a little bit of a rally window for crypto. And this thing couldn't buy a friend through the whole damn weekend. While Litecoin enjoyed a fairly substantial rally off of the lows there, right? Ethereum basically didn't do a hell of a lot. And in essence has carved out this really nasty, ready? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Hey, anybody know what the song I'm singing, or is my singing gotten so bad that you just have no idea what the hell Brian's saying? Anyway, it's not really the best image, right? But there is a pretty nasty looking little empire right there. And shouldn't shock us to see that that price is just slipping here. And I suppose on the this is the US dollar one too. Oh boy, that's not good. So put it all together, where Ethereum's didn't get any love through this weekend at all. BLC, yeah, I noticed that. Like and that's an interesting thing, right? Is the little Cryptopia account is just coming alive here. These are all dead coins. These are all worthless, complete crap, according to Bitterx. Zero is worth nothing. Bitterx considers this crap, and that's like 2 point. And let's see what it is now. It might be even more than that. And let's see where are we? Crap is worth almost 2.4 BTC. Oh, what the hell, man? That's like, what is that? That's like 6,000 or 7,000 US dollars. And Bitterx would be more than happy to say that that was worthless. You know what I'm going to say to Bitterx? So, by all means, and, keep in mind, too, that I farmed almost 1.15 BTC out of all of these dead coins, just continuing to sell halves on doubles. And actually, it's interesting. We had one little, and so there's Jeremy's reference. You can see the BLC sitting at 0.17 BTC. I mean, that's some half decent money. Right, and that's almost $500, right? And Bitterx would say that it was dead, it's worthless. And what I'm noticing when I look over at these these Cryptopia charts, they're just the prettiest charts. So I got a funny feeling. And guys, to all my community, like this is a message from the heart. I have noticed cycle in, cycle out. I talk about it in the school programs. There will I don't understand this world, but there will always be quote unquote experts in any industry. And the people that don't know what's going on, they're going to be referring to these quote unquote experts. Let's see if I can find you. Yeah, look at that son of a gun go. Well, Jeremy, you're an expert in being cool. That's what all that matters. You're an expert in being a guy that I really like. You just keep being you, and I'm more than happy. So anyway, I'm just being silly. Um, but I don't know. You look at this chart. Listen, I mean, it's a bit of fun. Remember, guys, this is venture capital. I mean, technically, all of this stuff is BS. But and we had one yesterday. Same thing. This is another Cryptopia coin. This triangles. Coinigy and Cryptopia just do not get along very well. But hey, I'm here to make money from trading. I'm not here to be somebody's best friend. I'm here to make money from trading. Can anybody make money from trading on that? Jeremy doesn't. Don't Cryptopia and Coinigy? If it's not too much to ask, I don't understand. So, if you listen to the quote unquote experts, oh, P, what? Somebody slap that P guy. What are you, Mr. Harland? Watch your, yeah, watch your tongue. But the point that I need to make for you guys here, right? The point is that when I went and bought this, I just want to own crypto. I want to own everything. But holy crap, did I ever take a world of quote unquote poop storm over this? Oh, that thing's garbage. It's total scam coin. Well, I don't really care. Profit is a profit is a profit, and we're making money on this thing. And really, in fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if I got another fill here. Let's see what the hell this damn thing's doing here. Where the hell is it? It's one of these coins. So I was actually, it's interesting that you guys mentioned it. There it is. Yeah. It's interesting that you guys mentioned this because in fact, I think I might even just sold a bit more here. What do we got in here? Order placed. Oh, not yet. Let's make sure I have this order working. I I guess as a trader, I appreciate that it's a good idea. Stuart is always on my butt about us being the rational investor and us, investing in good fundamental stories. But I think if anything, this is an excellent testament. We've shown you a couple of these, right? We got one here, and then that other one that I was just showing you. Here's one that actually I was buying into today. I'm really interested in this thing. This is I think it's a new issue. I'm not quite sure what you call these things. ICO just came out of the gate, doing a little bit of nibbling on it. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But I just wanted to finish. There it is. There. That's the daily chart there. I'm taking some nibbles here. But here is that. Here's another one. This PXI. Does everybody see the volume surge here? Actually, and for all the level oneers who just did volume, getting a nice little moving average double bottom here, right? So you rate Cryptopia. What does that mean? So you rate Cryptopia. But well, I think that this is venture capital. So somebody asked me, what do you think of Cryptopia? I think this is venture capital. I think that if you define the terms that you're willing to play at and you stick to those terms, you can do very, very well in this market. And actually, a really good example of that is, and it's a name that's dear to my heart. Look at this son of a bitch go. I got to make sure I got orders working here. Hold on a second. I can't believe this. This is so funny. We're not supposed to be making money. This isn't supposed to be happening in altcoins right now, right? That's what I find hilarious about this. Everybody's supposed to be dying 1,000 deaths. What's going on here? Why is this thing going face ripping up? Now, I don't see any more orders here for me. I don't understand what's going on here. I must have just been, must have been filled here. No, I'm not showing any fills. TRI. Maybe they liberated my coins. TRI. Nope, I don't see any orders here. Why does it say Oh yeah, awesome, I did. So I got filled right here. I got filled at 62,195. Right up in there. That's not a bad filling. TRI, yeah, 7195. 7195. Yeah, not a bad day's work. Funny thing is, that's like for 0.53 BTC. So what is that? That's 0.1200. That's about 150 bucks. 150 bucks, 150 bucks, 150 bucks, eh? But in a kick in the pants? I don't know. What do you think? All right. So the point here is that technically, if you listen to the experts, this shouldn't have happened. So what's going on here? Something's not right. And what I would simply say is this, if anything, the reason why this thing is going up is because of the market state, this orgy of crypto, this orgy of free money that's going on through this cycle peak, fear. And these guys, my hunch is these guys very quietly, look at all this accumulation in here. Can you guys see the volume? I mean, these guys were accumulating. Somebody is going to make an absolute killing on this thing. I mean, we've been treated very well on this. Thank you very much. It was actually interesting. Somebody had even suggested that TRI should go and just buy up this coin when it was down here. But the irony of it all is I went and I asked the experts and they all said, oh, no, it's a piece of shit. It's a scam. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Look who's laughing now. Should we have gone and loaded up the boat? And I thought it was funny. I was joking in the lounge yesterday. I was saying, well, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if, anyway. Okay, so kind of a fun anecdote for you. There are places to make money even when all the big boys are pooping their pants. I thought I'd just review. It's not a bad idea. Just take a look. Are a couple of trade setups that we have working. Not a bad idea just to keep us honest. What are we doing here? And this Bella, I mean, the price action here is all over the map. I don't think that that's correct. And my Coinigy charts have been acting really weird lately. If I refresh this, I'm going to lose the chart. So, but what the hell? Let's see what happens. I don't think that's the correct price action. Look at what this son of a gun did. Isn't that incredible? So our stop, like we said on the bot, was supposed to be a break of these key lows, right? Where are we here? So in essence, thought it was, yeah. But isn't that interesting? So that's showing that they did break it? Huh, I didn't get any alerts about that. Did you guys get alerts that they broke 7,700 here? Isn't that interesting? Okay, so in essence, I think I'm probably going to have to walk away from this Bella trade. I didn't realize that they had broken it. My charts have been just acting so screwy here. So it looks like they came down. They broke 7,700. They quickly put in a double bottom. I think actually I'm glad I did this video. I think I might just hop off of this thing. I don't know. Got a bad feeling. Shouldn't have broken that level. That's not good. So probably after this video is done, I'm probably going to just blow that out. So be forewarned that that's coming. And watch price just collapses. In fact, you know what? I think while I'm doing the video, I'll just do it here. Because that's what I said I was going to do, and I'm a good role model, so let's just go and do it. If you guys took this double bottom setup as a trade, I really wouldn't have a problem if you just stuck with it and you want to risk against that low. But I had said that I was going to risk against that 7,700. So they did break it. Let's see, what was the ultimate low here? 75.57. So yeah, I think I'm just going to blow this out. Okay, where the hell is this thing? Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. and I bought at 92.59. Now we'll probably take a bit of a loss on this thing. Price, well, I'm not even quite sure how this works. I guess 9,400. It's not a whole damn thing. I guess we gotta go down to 94. Amount. All right, that's gone. So I think actually I'm probably just going to come out of scratch on that. So I bought at 92 and I blew it all out at 95 and change. So I made a small profit. Okay, not quite sure how this works. LOL, right? I just blew it out. Can you just load your TA from a load chart button? I'm not quite sure what the question is, guys. Can somebody want to come off mute and just ask me verbally? Next to camera. I'm not quite sure what the question is, guys. Top right. Okay, I'm lost. So I'll just continue along my story. If you're still in Bella and you took this double bottom, rock on, way to go. But, you know, I'm going to write up on the blog post that 7,700 was broken, and I just walked away. That's what I said I was going to do, so that's what I did. And if anything, it was probably pretty fortunate that I didn't get the alert right on the bat. I just get to walk away at scratch. Okay, so what else we got on the books? We picked up this little Omnibot, and I thought it was interesting watching it coming down into these levels yesterday. It's just sort of floating around, a little bit underwater, but just sitting there twiddling its thumbs. If we break this low, we get the frick out of there. But a little bit of this RLC, nothing really to write home about. I do like how Willie's acting here, but again, we might get a nice little inside bar reversal there. That would be encouraging, but really nibbling, bottom fishing still. Same thing on this NMR, just doing a little bit of nibbling. I was encouraged here on the NMR. Keep in mind, this is a 4-hour chart, so the daily still looks like shit. But was interested that on the 4-hour, we finally have a MACD bullish divergence. So actually at this point, Hollywood Knickers can actually start getting interested in a name like this. So watch for a nice double bottom, all you Hollywood Knick aficionados, and hunt for your 2-to-1s. It's finally, we're starting to see some divergences developing here where we can actually start feeling relatively bullish again. It's been a nasty couple weeks here of just sitting here just waiting. I have a whack of gold. I still have one more order working to buy a bit more gold. Just nothing going on there right now. Just let that work. Nautilus, and if anything, guys, this is exactly what I want everybody new to trading to try and understand, is that, you know, while the big coins that are looking really toppy, really heavy, and are just not happy right now, I want to be hunting names that have put in these weekly W's. And I want, you know, broader market weakness. I want the Ethereums to collapse. I want the Bitcoins to collapse. I know, what did you just say, Brian? Or, you know, I want them to break. And I want that inertia to be spilled over into names like this and bring this thing back down into these levels and give me my gosh darn fills, please. I've been waiting very patiently, and it's driving me nuts. They won't bring this darn thing back down against these lows. But anyway, so I'm sitting there continuing to bid. I want to buy more. I already do have a little bit on off of the double bottom itself, but I'd be more than happy to be a buyer on any serious tests of these lows in here. And then, there was one that I just took a nibble on. It was an interesting one. And I kind of like the idea of building up our portfolio to have like sort of different sectors represented. And this, if I understand correctly, is supposed to be more geared towards the medical sector. in the medical field. I don't know the story very well, I'll be honest with you. But we do have, like Cure, we've got Pink. Um, there's a couple others that are in the medical field. I can't think. Folding Coin, FLDR. And so I kind of like the idea of just adding different sort of sectors, stories as well. And I do like to just sort of listen to the Twitter chatter. And there's a few altcoin traders out there that I follow on Twitter that they've got a pretty good head on their shoulders. They're also miners. And I did see a lot of chatter this morning that those guys were in there saying that they're starting to take nibbles. And you know me, I'm never going to bet the farm on anything. So I went and took a little nibble just on this range here. It looked really interesting. Obviously, that range has failed. I did notice that there was a cheeky little gap down in here, so I've actually split the order that I wanted to buy, about a quarter of a Bitcoin in total, and I split it amongst these two levels. So if I do get filled here, like I said, not a hell of a lot, less than 1% of our Trek stake alone. I'm more than happy. That'll give me a nice little sort of average cost somewhere right in that area for this little initial stab. If this thing has to break lower lows, that's fine. I mean, I won't go and add any more for the time being, but I'm willing to take a shot against these lows. They look really interesting to me. And so that's an idea for you to chew on. If you want to kind of like with things like the RLC, if you want to just simply be patient, Brian's in there just going and bidding against lows. But if you want to wait for the momentum divergence to develop, you want to wait for either fractal or double bottoms or heads and shoulders or triangles I don't really care. It's just whatever works for you. That's perfectly fine on this kind of idea as well. This might take like a good 6 months to develop. My hunch is, for whatever it's worth, opinions aside, I wouldn't be surprised if we do something like this, and eventually you're going to find that the double bottom is actually registered off of this level. I've seen that happen time and time again. But that's just purely speculation as it stands right now. There is no signs of any bottom here. All we're doing is just testing the bottom end of the range. And Brian, Brian, he loves to buy against bottom ends of ranges. And yeah, well, the interesting thing is that, and this is kind of one reason why I like taking shots against here, is we do know the market has sort of left us a little tell that if and when it gets happy, you can see, can everybody see how there's this little gap on the price charts here? I don't know how long the market's going to take to fill this gap in. I don't know. Can anybody see this? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I don't know. But at some point down the road, the market's going to fill this gap in. And if anything, what I'm basically saying right now, and I think what Jeremy's kind of alluding to, well, that doesn't help. Like that, is if we think about taking shots down here, then if and when the market does come back and fill in that gap, well, if we take shots here, a double for us is just simply a test of this high. That's actually not really unrealistic. I get the feeling, like I said, I'm probably going to be building up my position so that I have an average cost somewhere down in here. And like we said just a moment ago, candle bodies, wicks, and stuff like to be eaten. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice little counter trend rally up in here. And I'd ideally like to be able to get that double off on this kind of rally up into here. And I think ultimately down the road, right, that's probably where we're going. So, yeah, and the irony of it all is if this took 6 months to develop, right, in crypto land, that's forever. It's like, what are you kidding? Are you crazy? I'm not gonna sit in a trade for 6 months. That's nuts. For an old dinosaur like me, I don't have a problem with that at all. I should be taking that bet every day of the week. And of course, like I said, I'm not betting the farm. If if I do go and build a position on here and it's maybe it builds up to 2-3% of the portfolio and it takes 6 months to build, you know, the irony with this silly market, and this is what I highly, highly suggest to all of you guys, is, you know, we may be looking at this and going, yeah, it's probably going to work its way down here. There's not really any hurry, you know, just go and take nibbles, blah, 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 blah. And then one day you're going to wake up and the damn thing's just going to go zing, zing, right? And if you don't have those open orders working, you miss the trade. So, you know, even if your plan is that I'm going to build this over time, just make sure to have those open orders to sell halves on doubles working, because you never know when these silly rallies come out of nowhere. And if you're given that gift, then on the next pullback, you can go and do second cars. And that's sort of what I did on another trade that I probably not a bad sort of, we'll leave off this little video that I'm doing here for you today on. I went and bought a second car trade on one that was actually a little bit of a gift. Let's see, where is it here? I think, and I even did the write-up. Man, am I getting quick on these blog posts? I'm actually keeping up to speed. Imagine that. But this INCNT. So can everybody see? This is sort of my ideal trading scenario. I absolutely love these. What are you saying? Oh, sure, you can pass me some GB. I'll dump them for you. Okay. But here, for example, this is Brian just taking stabs against the low end of the range. Can everybody see this? Does this make sense? Does it make sense why Brian would be buying here? Anybody? Right. We got the anecdotal evidence a little bit later on that, yeah, it looks like this was the bottom. There's your W. There's a quick little fight, right? I'm sure Ian and all his lower time frame indicators all just said, get long, get long, get long all through here. Anyway, you shake it. All we really wanted to see was a test of this previous rally peak to give us our double, which we got. Boom. And now I'm actually in the position where I can go and take that original capital that I put to work in the first car. Now the first car is on its own. It's already bought and it's paid for, it's free. And now I've gone and strapped on a second car. Everybody see how I did that? And the double level, ironically enough, to get a double on this second car, get my original money back in my hands, is nothing more than just a test of this trend line. And gee whiz, everybody see the big old gap there? And we got this big old wick right there. It was one of these days where these crazy things open up and go spiking up and then come crapping back down. In essence, all I need is a rally back up here to get this second car bought and paid for. Does that make sense, guys? So Ian, this is where you can make an absolute fortune. Is you know, like I was noticing, I think Ian was watching, was it Digibyte, or was one of those coins that was going back and forth the whole way up? Dash, all right. And so if you can try and apply this principle that you want to just keep building your position, and every time you book a profit, you're going to take those profits to finance the next position. By the time you actually get, if Dash took off, you could have just a massive position financed by the market. Does that make sense? That's, if I can get you to that level, that's the level where you enter sort of God mode. And that's how professionals trade. So that should be a challenge for Ian going forward. Frankly speaking, I don't know if this thing's going to hold these lows. I really don't know. But my first trade was bought and paid for, completely financed, technically a free trade. And all I did was I just took my original capital, said, oh, what the hell, if it worked the first time, let's take another stab against these lows. Let's see what happens. And of course, if this thing pops up and gives us a free trade, then I'll just do it again, right? Okay, I don't know. What do you think, guys? Should we open the floor for some requests? Why don't we take some requests from new people to the site? All you veterans, you get to keep your tongue in your mouth. Well, silly statement, sorry. But some new people. Let's take a look at some names you're interested in, and let's send. Actually, I got to get going here because I have to head off to Liam here shortly. So let's go maybe about 10, 15 minutes or so, and then send everybody on their way. Okay, so somebody wants to look at what do we got there? Where should we put this? Jesus, I better get my next cell half on a double order working, eh? These guys. That's hilarious. Anybody want to take bets on where they actually top this thing out? 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. It's going to be par with Bitcoin. Okay, XVC. Oh boy. Oh yeah. You can see where the double bottom is. I don't know, P, if you've been working with me that long, but I'm a really big fan of W's. Can you see the W here? Yeah. I absolutely remember I said earlier, on the Bitcoin trade, if you ever see the market like a double smile, in this case, it's not a smile, it's a smirk, it's a W upside down. But can you see P, this little W within the bigger W? You see that? So, I mean, what I ideally want to get you to, point P, if you don't mind me calling you by your first name, is I need to get you to the point to be able to see this. Only when I point it out. Okay. Well, so the point here is if and when you can ever get to this stage where you see a bigger W and then you see a smaller W, then I know that you're on a good track, right? This clearly is the trader's trade right there, right? If you ask Ian, where are you long XVC? My hunch is he's going to say right there. I sure am building up your ego, eh, Ian? I hope I'm not writing checks you can't cash. So anybody who wants to learn how to trading, just go talk to Ian. Okay, that makes that easy. Anyway, and he's going, why, wait a minute, I thought I came to learn from you. Yeah, no pressure, no pressure. Anyway, and so the interesting thing is, check this out, P, if I may call you P. Do you notice how these sons of guns left a gap right at that level? You see that? Right there. They actually are even right now, they're telling us, we're coming back here. P is me. All right. Sneaky sods. So whatever the story is that put this bottom in here, if anything, it would be good for you to go read on the Anand boards and all that kind of crap. What happened fundamentally here? Something fundamental changed this story. Can you go find out what that fundamental story is? Was it a new wallet? Was it a new private backer? Was it they're gonna reinvent the wheel? What is it that caused that? Now, if you're thinking about buying right now, and actually we did a trade just like this recently, who can tell me what setup, if we have a big honking market structure W like this, and we're thinking fib levels, does anybody know offhand? And where's my, he's a specialist at this, he loves this. Ah, Boba already has the answer, right? What setup am I thinking here? I'm thinking about sharks going into the market and just clipping it at appropriate levels. So the sharks are all, and they don't have we should get like a shark fin icon. But I've been just putting this table, this knife and fork icon. If the sharks are going to be feeding I think they're going to be feeding down here. And notice also too, there's another price gap right there. So can you see where the sharks are going to be feeding? Does that make sense? You know, and of course, who are they feeding on? Yeah, that was Gap 88.6. Yeah, they're feeding on all the poor sods, of course, that bought up here, right? Which is sad. Guess what? This is capitalism, guys. It sucks. It's just brutal reality. You know, in the level 1 program, I talk a lot about this. You can either be a victim of this, or you can learn from this and take advantage of it. The behavioral pattern doesn't ever really change. It's pretty much the same thing, rinse a year in, year out. I've been at this game for 30 years. The rules haven't changed at all in that entire 30 years. It's the same crap, just different pile. So, you know, if I wanted to invest in this thing, if I wanted to be hunting trades, I think this is the area down here that I'd be really focused in on. Make sense? If anything, what I would suggest, and this is a good lesson for all the level 1ers that just started the program and the value of respecting the higher time frames. I did see a lot of new people to trading that, you know, we started the education program when these silly coins were going straight up. And people just couldn't understand that, gee whiz, you know, there is quite a bit of risk and these things will probably work their way back down. So it's really good that they had to go through that process. It's a painful learning process. I sure hope they learned. But what I did see a lot from was, you know, we can see where the trade location is down here, right? If we're going to be risking our hard-earned money, this is the area we want to be risking in. But I did notice a lot of, you know, level 1ers were like, okay, well, let's hunt like lower time frame setups in here. Maybe this is where, and really these are just traps. Now, if you're a slickster and you can hop in and out and you're doing like 20, 30 trades a day, great. I'll tell you, that's an awfully tough life. It's not easy. My advice is just wait for higher time frame trade location and then start getting active in hunting your setups. This, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of people try to make a living off of trading these swings in here. You're not going to be banging out doubles. It's not that easy kind of trading. This is like maybe 5–10% returns. You have to be perfectly comfortable with getting stopped out. And it is a very high anxiety life, no doubt about it. And I'm worried. I see people fall into this behavioral pattern that, okay, well, no, this market will come back. You know what? Yeah, I bought here, but it's breaking a new lows. I'm still feeling like it. See, it came back. Look, and I took profits. Well, sometimes if this thing just might not come back, and you are completely hooped. So just be careful, guys. You can't, you know, if you're going to play this kind of game and the market breaks against you, just don't assume that, okay, well, you know what, it'll come back. This is the market, because sometimes they just don't come back. Word of warning. Okay, I think I'll probably leave the video at that for today. We got to give, who was that? P, you got a nice little lesson in my, and really I like the look of this chart. This is a good looking chart. This is the kind of asset that I want to own. And what I tell all the level 1ers when they start the program is, you want to make this really simple on yourself, just look for weekly W's. So when I see this is a kind of name that I want to be participating in off of this levels. That's good stuff as far as I'm concerned. So I really like the fact that you asked me to look at this name, and now we've given you some levels to think about. Okay, how am I going to get in on this weekly W? All right, why don't we leave it at that? You guys have yourselves a great rest of your day. Heading off to Liam here, so I'll be on the beach. But hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. All the best, and bye for now.